Well, hello, Benjies. Welcome to the Geekish Network, the BingeWorthy podcast. My name is Johnny Randolph, and I am a speaker and a trainer and a podcaster. And I've got two exceptional co-hosts. My first co-host, this lady, she is an actress, a writer, director. For short, always say, I just call her a superstar. Say what's up to the people, Miss Courtney Scott, right?
Hello.
Love it. Strike a pose. And this next guy here, he is a serial entrepreneur. He's a game designer. He's part owner of the Geekish Network. Say what's up to the people, Chuck.
What it do?
What it do?
What it do?
And we are the BingeWorthy podcast. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing tonight?
Doing great.
Hi. Yeah.
Cool.
How are you doing?
I got my pip corn.
I'm doing well.
And
And I
ready.
see Courtney rocking the Lakers. I didn't even pay attention to it earlier. She's rocking the Lakers hat and the Lakers shirt. I see you out there.
I know my
Awesome.
friends in Detroit. Hopefully nobody's watching.
Well,
Because I am I am a through and through
Detroiter.
Pistons fan. I'm a through and through Pistons fan, but I'm a rocket this for tonight.
I'm sorry for both of you all.
So it's cosplay. It's cosplay there, right?
It's cosplay. Exactly. I'm cosplaying.
All right, I got it. All
appreciate
right. I can buy that. All right. For those of you out there who don't know, the premise of our show is that each week we will binge watch a television series, and then we come right here to the BingeWorthy podcast where we will discuss that series. At the beginning of our show, we will rate it based on our unique binge-worthy scale, and then we engage in some high-level, captivating conversation. And at the end, we re-rate it. And maybe, just maybe, some of our co-hosts can influence us to change that rating. Now, sometimes that discussion can lift that rating up, and sometimes it can just drag that shit all the way down to the floor. And speaking of our unique binge-worthy scale, it is as followed. At a number 5, we call this a full binge out. That means this property is outstanding. It is dynamic. It is one of those can't miss. At a number 4, we call that a full meal. Now, a full meal, it's not quite a full binge out, but it is definitely worth your time to invest in viewing this property. At a number 3, we call that a mini meal. A mini meal isn't bad. It's just not great either. It's kind of Our superstar, Miss Courtney Scott, right all the ways describes it as a bland ass TV dinner. And I have to add, without any of that Lowry seasoning. Then at a number 2, we call that a snack. A snack it's edible, but you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to get full off of it. You're just eating it because ain't shit else in there to eat. And then at a number 1, we refer to as a cringe worthy. That means this is some old bullshit. And as I say, occasionally, just occasionally, Chuck, why the hell did you recommend we watch this?
And there you go again. There you go.
I said occasionally. I hadn't done it in a while, man. I've done it in a while. And if you don't know, tonight we are watching Winning Time, the rise of the Lakers dynasty. The premise of Winning Time is the series chronicles the professional and personal lives of the 1980s Los Angeles Lakers basketball team, both on and off the court. So, Chuck, we're going to start with you, man. How are you going to rate Winning Time?
Gonna start with me again?
Yeah, we're gonna start with you again.
Oh Lord, y'all know how I do when I go first.
Well, you better not give it a cringe worthy. You better not. You better not. But you're free to you're free to rate your show however you want to. You're free to give your opinion.
Just don't give it a cringe worthy.
Right, just don't give it.
Actually, I'm gonna give it a binge worthy. I literally watched all the episodes in one sitting. Watched it all back to back. A binge worthy. Oh. And I have never seen so many actors make love to the camera and talking to me in the camera. And that's what I loved about it the most. Okay. I'm breaking the fourth wall and talking to me.
Fourth wall. Okay. All right. So I am going to jump in here. Now, this time period, this is kind of when I fell in love with basketball. Like it kicks off that era. It's a little earlier for me, but it kicks off that era for me. And at the time, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were the biggest superstars. I mean, this is before Michael Jordan, LeBron, all of those guys. It was literally all about Magic and Larry. And this series, the way they used to talk, like they would describe Larry Bird as wholesome, hardworking, those types of things. They were euphemisms for being white. And they would describe Magic Johnson as flashy and showy, which was euphemisms for him being black. So they really captured that. Now, with that being said, everything in Winning Time is not 100% biographical. And if you want it to be, you need to go watch a documentary. This is not a documentary. It is not. It is a dramatization. And in this dramatization, it is full of drama. There's so much drama in this series. It carries on to the actual making of it, right? You had drama with the creators. Friendships were broken up over it.
That is so
Jerry
true.
West sending his lawyers, he's sending having his lawyers tell HBO that they owe him an apology. Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar have said they're not even watching it. So it's just full of drama. And
Kareem watched it. Kareem watched it enough to
Magic
complain.
said he's not gonna watch it. Kareem said it was some bullshit in better words.
He was like, Jerry West never did that.
Yeah, right.
He did a lot of stuff, but he didn't do none of the stuff in that show.
Right. And with all that being said, I'm here for the drama. I am 100 here for the drama. I'm here for the pettiness, the storytelling. So for me, I'm going to have to concur with my compadre. I'm giving this a full binge out, man. This was fun from beginning to the end. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Courtney. How are you going to rate Winning Time?
Something Chuck said something interesting about them breaking the fourth wall, because usually you see that a lot of times in comedies, you have like The Office or Parks and Rec, or what's the other one that just did it recently? I'm totally blanking on it. But anyways, a lot of times it's often comedies. And I I loved it because it was so natural and fluid. Like the way that they were talking, it almost seemed like it was it was actually a documentary from time to time. And then there was one moment where Jerry Buss legitimately, the character playing, John C. Reilly, like knocks the camera down. I was like, what are you looking at? And I'm like, wait, there was someone there. This isn't just like me supposed to be watching these actors just fake like they're talking to us. I've never seen a quote unquote based on a true story done in that way so well. It was really interesting, and this was definitely a grown man soap opera. This is the only way that like all the men that watch this knowing full well, this is some high drama dynasty worthy bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
It was,
and I was there for every single second. There was even fighting. I was so thoroughly excited. This was a little bit early for me because I really dropped in during the Pat Riley, Chuck Daly years of the rivalry between the Lakers and the Bad Boys. So I'm really hoping that comes into season 2. Because I was a diehard, I was invested in basketball. You couldn't tell me I knew all the players, I knew all their stats, I knew everything on every team. I was so deep in. I had my own Pistons jacket with my name like monogrammed on the back of it. I was a hot mess. But because of that, I gotta say, I can't wait for the Pat Riley seasons because Adrian Brody, he brought it, and I was thoroughly enjoying it. I have to give it a binge out as I sit here repping my Lakers. Got me out here repping the Lakers in public. Because ordinarily I only wear this shit at a game with the hat real low. But I can't have my Pistons coming for me. Still a Pistons fan, y'all. I just want to be clear.
All right. R.I.P. to the late, great Chuck Daly. That was my coach, my first coach that I ever fell in love with. So in the chat, we got Ronnie writes, it is a staple of Adam McKay, I guess, talking to the fourth wall. And it's interesting that YouTube brought that up. So Michael Shannon was originally cast to play Jerry West, but he quit because he couldn't quite grasp that idea of the fourth wall. So they had to.
That makes sense. He's so like method.
Yeah, so they had to recast him. All right.
And they did it. It was a great recast. I really hope this guy wins an Emmy. He earned it.
Okay, so let's
Jason,
let's
what's his name?
Here.
Yeah.
Jason
Clark.
So let's start about it. Chuck, let's talk about the setting for the show. How do you feel this series did in recreating that late 70s, early 80s type of look?
Man, from the very beginning, the setting was perfect. The film composition they used, the digital film, looked like real film. The problems with the film was shot like documentary style, like 8mm style of film, and the music was great, and the costuming was amazing. They nailed the costuming. It was all about the costuming.
Yeah,
it was that look of the footage was everything, because down to the little black part in the corner, the corner of the screen,
that bringing it up,
come in and out of like an old school camera. And then even when it was back in, quote unquote, it still had a grainy edge to it that was just fantastic. And it just helped with the period. There was some of the footage they were playing. I was like, is this real? Did they pull any of the real footage? Or is this actually like, or is this
actually like
film?
The pictures of like the forum and stuff and those cars? I was like, did they actually pull this from here?
I think it was all composed that way.
Yeah.
I think they shot everything fresh, composed that way. Yeah. It just looked real.
It just looked
the cars
real.
Looked great. The scenery, how they had the buildings, the way they decorated all the offices. I was like,
yeah, the parties, like the mansion and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, the chinchillas.
I was about to say, and Norm Nixon was my guy, man. Norm Nixon was fly every time you saw him.
Dude, Norm had me angry during training camp. And then when they came together during training camp, Norm Nixon was played by his son.
I was about to say, it was played by his son. It was played by his
really?
son.
He
Yes,
did an
He's played by
incredible
his
job
son.
because he had
Crushed
me
it.
in tears on in the
man.
finale when he came up to Magic and was like, "We got you." I was done. I was like, "Oh, Norm, look
When
at where
Norm was
y'all
in-
came. Y'all
When
came
Norm
from
was getting his
Cranston."
manicure, I was cracking up, and they was cracking up. They was like, nobody even believed your little ass was in the NBA. He's 6'9" and everything. Oh, I was cracking up. And when Norm challenged Magic to the basketball game at Donald Sterling's party, oh, it had me in tears, man.
Right. Right. Oh
So
man.
we're talking about some of these characters. So Courtney, you are a professional actress. What did you think about the casting and the quality of the acting for this show?
I thought the casting was fantastic. Like, I mean, the only person I had, and I can't really take away from her acting, I thought she did a beautiful job as an actor. She just didn't really look like Cookie very much. But I thought other than that, I thought everybody was perfectly cast. They did a wonderful job. It was a full-on team. They were a unit. You know what I mean? Every single member of the cast had a role to play. They understood the mission and they played it well. At Sally Field, I can't. Sally Field is forever gonna be the queen. If anybody tells me Sally Field is not a good person, I'm gonna be heartbroken because she is devastatingly fantastic. Like, oh God, I need her to get an Emmy. She destroyed it.
Go ahead, Chuck. Sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, I thought the acting was great. I thought the extras were great. He woke up in the Playboy Mansion. And I was like, what is going on in this show? Who is Jerry Buss? Who is Dr. Buss? I did not know he was this character. I didn't. It makes sense why him and Donald Sterling were friends. It made total sense.
Well, that was the thing that Jerry Buss was known for. Like, he bought Showtime because otherwise the Lakers don't work in Los Angeles. Like, you're competing against movie stars and the most beautiful people in the world. And you got to get them to care about something that, I mean, at that time, it wasn't even that big. It's competing against like football and baseball. So it's like, how do you get people to care about basketball? And you make it a show. You put Jack Nicholson in the front row. You have the Laker girls. You have the party. So,
oh my God, Paula Abdul. When Paula Abdul came out, I was screaming.
She was a Laker girl.
I know she was. Of course. Come on now. I was dancing Lil Paula when I was a kid. Like, you know what I mean? They were right up there. I think they're the reason. I can't say this for sure. I don't know who was first, Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders or the Laker girls. But either way, when she came out in that little ballet and she was dancing, I was like, "That's Paula Abdul." I didn't need them to write that on the screen. I was like, "I know that's her."
Killed it.
Killed it. Yeah. Everybody. I was like, "Oh my God, I can't."
I'm imagining this is going to have a lot of Emmy nominations.
Oh yeah.
Me too. Absolutely.
Hands down. Like
across the board.
It might get best limited. No, it's a series. It's a
they're
full
bringing
series.
it back. Yeah, they're bringing it back. Yeah,
so it can totally win best series. Like I please let it win best drama. It's worthy.
And we can go 6 or 7 years because the Lakers dominated all of the 80s. Even if they didn't win, they went to 9 finals during this period.
Yeah, and they won 5 of them.
They won 5 of them. Absolutely. Yeah. So they can do this for a while.
I mean, we haven't even gotten into like Pat Riley being full coach yet.
No.
That scene when Adrian Brody was in the shower and he like pushed his hair back and they gave you a flash of Pat Riley with his hair slicked back. I was done. Yeah. And then seeing him in that jacket, his like classic Pat Riley jacket with like the heather gray coat
suit,
and it like flipped up the collar. I was done. I was like, "Oh, Pat, can we get the Pat years, please?"
Right. Yes,
please. Pat epitomized
favorite.
Yeah, 80s cool. The Armani suits, the slick back hair. It was like the whole Gordon Gekko, bigger than life type of thing, right? And Pat wore it. And that's who they needed was a coach to make people care about that, right? Yeah. That's who they needed.
He felt like I didn't know Pat Riley started off as an announcer. I was like, I thought he was always a coach. I knew he was a player, and I didn't know he went to becoming a sidekick announcer. Like what?
There's some of that fictionalized stuff. He was an announcer, but he wasn't.
I vaguely remember his voice because I was little, but I vaguely.
I don't remember Pat Riley being an announcer.
I remember his voice more than anything.
Because Pat Riley was super dope. So he epitomized Lakers Showtime, and that's what they needed. I'm pretty sure Jerry Buss paid for all of them suits too. I'm pretty sure he did, because like that was the image that they wanted to portray. So let's speaking about images, let's talk about Jerry West. The real Jerry West was furious about this depiction of him. As I said earlier, he had his lawyers draft a statement saying HBO owes him an apology. But when I watched this, I'm good with this depiction. Like, to me, he was just a guy committed to winning, and he was all in, and he went up and down with the success of the team. So I'm gonna go with you, Chuck, first, and I'm gonna go with you to Courtney.
Oh man,
what do you think about Jerry West?
I thought this was excellent because the guy that is the symbol for the NBA, and he has this type of anxiety.
Right.
I love the fact he was
It humanized him. Honestly, it humanized him.
It showed that he really loved the team. He really loved the sport. He hated losing.
Yes.
And he was always in anxiety. Like that final game when he was walking around the stadium, it was like, shut the F up. Don't even talk to me. And kept walking.
He had the heart of a player. He had the heart of a player at the root and core of him. But at the same time, he's this like devoted fan. And it's just like, it's just incredible, you know, because we have so many, especially the Lakers franchise and the fans who they have become. They're, you know, between the Lakers fans, the Celtic fans, and what used to be the bad boy Pistons fans. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has their diehard team that they root for. And these diehard fans, they start from these people that we want to emulate and that we are respecting. And I thought Jason Clark did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job.
Even how he
Jerry
quit.
West.
How he quit was crazy.
Oh, that was hilarious.
The team was perfect.
Him and Jerry Buss.
One thing that the team is missing. Doesn't need. The one thing wrong with this team. Like what? I'm coaching it. Like what? Look. Oh man, it was so good.
I feel like if you not the way Jerry West is, you ain't all in. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you're not all in. So like, I mean, it just, as Courtney kind of alluded to, it shows this anxiety. And the thing is, Jerry West is a winner. He's a winner. He's won a championship. He's the logo of the NBA. And still,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was so amazing.
Yeah, my father told me that years and years. Yeah. So even with all this success, he's still this driven by winning and haunted by his losses. I think it's a great depiction. I don't know why. I don't know. I mean, people entitled to feel however they want to.
Yeah.
Well, it's their legacy.
I think the man that has so many great things, accolades in the NBA, is haunted by his losses. And it gives him anxiety all day long.
This makes perfect sense. I mean, given what we have, the limited knowledge of what we know of him, I would expect nothing less of Jerry West to come out and say, don't talk about me. Basically, he just pulled Will Smith. Get my name out your mouth.
Right. And people don't know, like, Jerry West was the person who drafted Kobe. He was the person who he was the person who drafted Kobe.
Yes, he was.
Is he the general manager?
He was the general manager of the Lakers later on. So this starts off his career as the general manager. He's the person who brought Shaq to the Lakers. When nobody thought Shaq was going to leave Orlando, Jerry West convinced Shaq to leave Orlando to come to the Lakers. When Shaq and Kobe was going through their beef and things like that, it was Jerry West who stepped in and calmed the still water. So like, he's a living legend, but to even see him still with that type of anxiety, I'm like, yeah, that's what winners do. They always want to win. And when they're not winning, it's like, oh, how can I win?
But that's what people, honestly, that's what people need to see more so than just you being like the perfect person. People are flawed, but they also rise above those things that hinder them. Those quote unquote demons are what make you who you are. And you battling against that makes you even greater. Like that, his legacy is so much, it's not tarnished. I guess that's, like, I understand you wanting to, especially it's a different generation. He's of that generation when we don't talk about the bad stuff. We don't talk about what happens to me in privacy. You know what I mean? Like, he's of that generation.
Yeah.
He's not of the mindset of right now of like, no, let's bring everything out to the open so that we can show the younger generation that this shit does happen to us too. Yeah. And it's okay.
It's okay, man.
It's okay.
What has me really excited is when they showed the souring of Magic and Kareem's relationship and how Jerry Westbright has to step in between there. And they look, we gotta get these championships. I don't care what y'all got going on. We're gonna win. And throw a chair out the window.
Yeah, I liked it when Magic was all friendly with Dr. J, right?
That was
going
amazing.
to the party and stuff with Dr. J. Dr. J buttering him up, and then Dr. J kick his ass in the game they play, and Jerry West is coming in like, Bud Russell used to do the same thing to Wilt all the time, and he kept falling for it. You know what I'm saying? I think he want to be liked. Do you want to be liked, or do you want to
is that why you didn't want to draft me? Is because you think I wanted to be liked? Because Magic did want to be liked. I mean, I think any kind of performer, because he's not just an athlete. He's a star.
Yeah,
Magic is a star.
We can talk about that.
You can't take away. You can't not look at Magic. There really is something to that smile.
Yeah, that smile, the way he looked into the camera. The way he played with people.
I thought that actor captured him down
beautifully,
because that is who Magic Johnson is. Ever since you knew him, it was that huge smile before he even came into a room, and he just sucked all the attention out of it. And I mean, the guy, they named him Magic. They named him Magic in high school.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I thought that actor was great. I
thought the contrast they made with Bird was great too. The poor white kid that was like,
the dude playing Bird is perfect. He's perfect casting. I mean, you couldn't tell me that wasn't young Larry Bird. That wasn't his son playing him. I mean.
Yeah, man. And I love like when Magic is sitting down with David Stern, and they're like, we're going to build, you and Larry. And like Magic is like, y'all cast the wrong person as Luke. I'm Luke, you know what I'm saying? I'm Luke in this equation.
So right.
Yeah,
he's
the Darth Vader, right?
Yeah, Larry Bird was so Anakin Skywalker. I don't even know what. I mean, he legitimately was like, no, I'm play ball. Like he had zero F's to be had.
Oh man, on the couch when he was sitting him in his head. I loved it. Yeah. That was like one of my favorite scenes. It was like, wow.
I liked him when he was on the couch at home, and they were, his family was making like racist comments, and he was like, "Shut up!"
Right?
He's there, and I'm here,
right. And I'm not,
and I'm not. I was like, it was so truthful. And then he went outside and went to work.
He went to work.
You better go ahead, Larry.
Larry Bird talks about that. He said he was one of the saddest he's ever been in his life when Magic retired, because he spent his whole career trying to beat Magic. So like after they would play a game, the first thing he would do was go to the box scores to see how many points Magic had, how many assists he had, how many steals, did the Lakers win? And when he knew he wasn't going to be able to do that anymore, it devastated him. He said, so since he had been 18 years old, he had been chasing this guy.
Yeah, because that's like it's literally not even just chasing him. They were making each other better.
Right.
It's like, you're the person who is my equal. Like, I see you as my, not even arch nemesis. Like, you, honestly, they are each other's person. Like, if we're talking Grey's Anatomy, that is Meredith Grey to Christina Yang. Like, that is my person.
Or Batman and Joker.
Or Batman and
Joker. I think
but like,
is.
I really don't think Larry Bird they were villains. That's the thing, is that I can't really see them as like the whole villain thing. They were rivals, but like not really like
Laker fans probably saw Larry Bird as the villain, and them Celtics fans
of course
Laker
they saw
fans.
Yeah. But I mean, they was more yin yang, you know what I mean? They made each other better.
And they saved the NBA. I mean, we talk about it. They literally saved the NBA, because before this happened, the NBA was on tape delay. They had low ratings. They were fourth or fifth amongst like sporting. It was like football, baseball, golf, basketballs. And like they built it. That rivalry is really what saved it. And Magic Johnson, it was that wadded smile. And I honestly, they had the draft, right? This is just my own conspiracy thinking. It was between LA and Chicago who got the first pick. I don't believe for 1 second Chicago was ever going to get that pick. The NBA knew what they were doing, and they had to have a star of Magic's abilities in LA. He had to be in LA because there's no footage of that coin toss. There's no footage of it anywhere. Nobody even talks about it. That was just like a story they put out there.
But they were like, "Does somebody have a quarter?" Like they didn't even care. It's like they didn't even care to flip it. They were like, "Nah, bro, we just gonna say we flipped it."
Right, because they knew Magic Johnson was going to LA. They knew that.
Everybody did.
Yeah,
Everybody
ain't
did.
no way they put him in Chicago with that bad history or anything. So let's talk about real quick. So one of the other relationships that they describe in here is the relationship between Dr. Buss and Magic. That was a very interesting relationship between the two. Mentor, mentee. I wouldn't say father and son because Magic had a father. So Chuck, what do you think about the
didn't listen
relationship?
to.
What's up?
What'd you think about
I thought that was interesting because
Dr. Buss and Magic?
I think it was a very symbiotic relationship. They needed each other. Dr. Buss needed somebody to let Magic be who Magic is and wasn't going to question Magic. I know you're the Showtime. I know you're this character. I need you to be that character in full. You need to be that character 100% of the time. You never need to turn it off. You need to be loved. You need to be liked. You need to be hated all at the same time. And I need you to be that. I need you to be the personification of my spirit animal. And I think that's what Magic was for Dr. Buss. And I think Dr. Buss was the shield for Magic. I'm going to let you be this character. And whatever you do, I'm going to protect you.
But I also think it was more, yes, to everything that you're saying. Mm-hmm. But I also think that learning that Jerry Buss came from nothing, that he came from, like, he was a Midwestern kid, that he did for Magic what no one did for him. And I think he saw Magic's potential the way he wished somebody would have seen his potential, you know, because everybody kept betting against him. He was the prize winning horse nobody put money on. Everybody bet against him. And when he ended the series saying, like, I got a few $1,000s in my bank, but I spent $80 million, that was everything. That was everything. And that said it all. The fact that, like, even right down to, like, the episode before, the episode 9, when he and his mom were, like, still breaking into this place that they used to break into when they were kids, when he was a kid, because they didn't have money. You know what I mean? Like, he never forgot where he came from. Nope. And I think that he never lost who he was, and he didn't want Magic to lose who he was, because that was the Magic.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. And that scene was so perfect. And I don't know if it really happened that way.
I don't know.
If it did, it should have. Like, that is the way.
Exactly.
Yeah, it has. And I agree with you because, like, we all see the smiles and the glitz, but there is a super sharp competitiveness underneath all of that. And that's what drove Magic. And I think, to your point, Courtney, like, Dr. Buss helped foster that. Like, you can be all these things, but, like, you got to remain true to who you are. And the Buss family aren't, like, they're wealthy. But, like, they're not the richest family in the NBA. They're not even close to it. Like, the championship pedigree, like, that they instilled in that culture in the Lakers, we're still talking about it today.
Dr. Buss' interaction with the Lakers coach at the time, what's his name? I just forgot his name.
Jack McKinney? Jack McKinney?
No, the Celtics coach.
Oh, Red Auerbach.
He was the owner. He was the owner. He wasn't the coach.
The owner.
Well, he's the GM.
GM too, right?
He was the GM?
He was the owner too, right?
I thought he was the owner. No? Okay.
Yeah, he's GM.
Yeah, and how he behaved.
But the dude from the Shield, what's his name? Was that Michael Chiklis who was playing? No, who was playing Red? What's his name? Yeah, it was Michael Chiklis. Okay. Yeah. He was perfect. He was a total dick. And I was like, go on, Colonel Sanders. I need you to go somewhere.
Yeah.
About that fried chicken, how nobody made fun of him being Colonel Sanders. I'll never know. But
yeah. Even Jeannie, the girl that played Jeannie Buss, I thought she crushed it. And I was like, I wonder if Jeannie was this way. Like
she was. I mean, I Googled her because she was running a team, the tennis team, when she was 19.
Yeah.
And then she
And Jeannie is a cold-hearted businesswoman to
She
the
sure
core.
is.
Because when the Lakers was going through all that, the son actually took over after Dr. Bus died.
Yeah.
And he was fucking up
Horrible.
royally.
Fucking
And
up.
the
What'd you say?
son,
The
Jerry
son.
Bus, Dr. Bus's son actually took
Johnny,
over.
right? It was Johnny,
I
right?
can't remember what
Did
his
he
name
take
was.
over?
Yeah,
He
he
took
took
over
over.
the business, the team part. Jenny was over the Lakers organization. She didn't
Yeah,
deal with the
Jeannie,
day to day, right? And he was just messing up all around. Jeannie sued
Jim.
his ass.
Jim Bus,
Jim,
yeah.
Jeannie
Jim
sued his
Bus.
ass and kicked his ass right out of there and took back control of the Lakers. And that's when they like got LeBron and started winning again and things like that. So yeah, she
Yeah.
is her father's daughter.
She just like the woman who played Claire, Gabby Hoffman. What she told her, she's like, no, you're not gonna be me. You're never gonna be me. You're gonna be him.
Yeah, you're gonna be
And
him.
because
Jim
she's the only one who's learning from the foot of the table. She's
Right.
got a seat watching.
Yeah.
Like who? It made me so angry. I felt her pain so badly, like wanting to be seen.
Yeah.
You know, by wanting to be seen, like, you know, he's trying to figure out which one of my boys should I give it to. And she was like, she damn near choked.
Right here, asshole.
I was like,
Yeah, like
I felt for
misogyny
her.
strikes again.
But I mean, it's
No.
late set, and I'm not
It's less
Gender is
70s,
late
yeah, 80s.
70s. Like, yeah, I mean, it's forward thinking as he was.
He's
Jerry
still
Buss
a white
was.
male.
He's still a powerful white male,
and he's still that's his baby girl, and he just doesn't see her. You know, ultimately he thinks she's gonna get married, want to have some babies, and then she'll leave.
Yeah.
No, man. I mean, I'm not saying she doesn't want to have kids, and I'm sure she did have some kids, but at the same time, like what's in your blood is in your blood, man.
Yeah.
But he wanted to dote over her like his mom.
Yeah.
He wanted to dote over her like his mom, you know? Like you're like mom. His mom wasn't helpless. She was definitely able, but he never realized how able she was. Like
I think when she died, he did. I think
he
started
the weight of her. No, I think it's more of like how much he relied on her, and she was that support. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like he expected that of her, but he wanted to give to her. He wanted to give back to his mom and take care of her, and that's the same way he wanted to take care of his daughter.
Jeannie, yep.
You know, like
what man doesn't?
no, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He wants my dad to his
what
last
man
day.
does it?
He
I mean,
wanted to
especially
take
like
care
a
of his
single
daughter.
mother raised by. I can't think. If you don't, you kind of a piece of shit. I'm sorry.
You kind of did.
Yeah. And how he talked to his ex-wife.
I loved her. I could have had more of her. She was hilarious. She was amazing.
Yes, she was like, this is your dad being your dad. When she showed up in Mexico with all the kids, I was like, oh hell nah.
But like even when she showed up at whatchamacallit's friend's funeral, like she knew the mission. She knew the mission, right?
When she showed up at training practice.
Yeah, training practice. Yeah. So she was
she's sharp.
Because Jeannie sent her there. Because he said, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna fix this. And she was like, no, bitch, I done already signed.
And I was about to say she was gonna sign the papers to turn it over so they wouldn't go into bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Well, the mom didn't file the papers.
She didn't. But that doesn't mean she didn't sign.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sign. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
According
She understood the mission. 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah. It's a lot of good stuff. So let's talk about it real quick. Courtney, I'll start with you. Kareem. He was a big part of the series, and I thought he had a very big arc. He was very stoic kind of at the end, but like later on, he starts to open up, and even he recognizes some of the damage that like Spence was creating for that team environment. What are your thoughts on Kareem and how his arc went?
I was so invested in him because the minute at the beginning of the series, kind of like what you just said, him being stoic, because I was like, dang, what are they doing to Kareem? Kareem would always, I remember him in his glasses, like later on in life, and he was always smiling and seemed to be having such a good time. He was very like clear and, whenever he would talk to people, but it always seemed like there was a lighter energy. And I was like, what is happening? They got Kareem all wrong. And then as you really get to see him kind of unfold in the episode where we learned like when he changed from Lou Alcindor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I thought that was really beautifully well done. Right into that same thing with him embracing magic and allowing magic to affect him. I thought that scene in the mosque with the
with the Muslim, that was great.
that was so incredible. That was such a great scene. Like I took some clues, some like pearls of wisdom from that scene, my doggone self. I was like, look at you. Okay, I see you, writer.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that what they did with him was just wonderful, seeing like the way that the trajectory of him, and even at the end when they convinced Magic to take the MVP award, he even came, he showed up, was like, we all good, we good, because it just showed the change and the growth and the power. And like, last thing I'm gonna say is like what you mentioned about Spencer. God, that was so heartbreaking. That actor also needs a nomination. Yeah, I knew they were going to vote him off the island.
That's my guy, Avon. Yeah, that's my guy, Avon. And I knew they were going to vote his ass off. I was like, they not going to have him on this team.
I was like, but he's still going to ring. He's still going to ring. I don't care if you did cut him. He played during up until the playoffs. So he gets him a ring for the little girl.
And a lot of people don't, and they didn't touch on it. And maybe they should have. But when Kareem changed his name from Lou Alcindor to Kareem, there was a huge backlash.
He does. He mentions it.
Oh yeah.
Like, and Kareem is probably, up until this point, the most famous and successful basketball player ever. He won 3 championships at UCLA. He won a championship with the Milwaukee Bucks of all places. In his time in college, he lost maybe 4 games, right? So he's huge. When he changes his name to Kareem, and then he does the unthinkable too. He supports Muhammad Ali in his decision not to go to the draft. Him, Jim Brown, a bunch of other Black athletes, they all see him at the press conference and they're rallied around him. And that hurt his popularity a lot. And the image of him being stoic kind of derived from that. And he just wasn't willing to play the game. Now, he may have had some stoicism in him, but he was just like, you know what? If that's what y'all want to do, I don't give a shit. I know who I am.
I'm here to collect
I know what you all have done.
Yeah. He caught all kinds of hell when he turned to Kareem. Like, you're a Black Muslim, you're married to this white woman, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
She was irritating. She did a wonderful job. She was irritating. I love that actress. I loved her when she played Hadley on, what was it? Parenthood? On Parenthood.
I've never seen Parenthood. Wow.
She did a great. She was a great actor in that, and she did a great job playing Kareem's wife.
Yeah,
she really did. I was irritated, and I think I was supposed to be, but I appreciated her. I was like,
wife? I thought she was good.
Well, because she did a good job, but there was just something. But I think that there was something about her that was a little grating, but I loved it. Like I can't explain it. Like I loved what she did. She was very hippie and very free, and I wanted to pop her in the face. But I loved what she was doing. I loved what I believed.
Yeah, she's
every single ounce.
Hippie wife.
Yeah, and that's what
she played it well. I got mad when I thought she wanted him to play on that ankle. I was like, "Ho, if you trying to send him out there, if you trying to
send him out there,
she sure did.
How bad do you want it?"
Exactly.
Well, and she was with him, and then he was like, I gotta play. She was like, well, if you're gonna do it, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I felt him though, as someone who has sprained an ankle and done what you needed to do in order to get your team there, on track. I sure did run off a sprained ankle. Sure did.
And that was a legendary performance that Magic put on in that game 6.
Yeah.
It's still revered, because you think about like all the great basketball players, how many rookies came out, won a championship when the best player in the known universe went down.
Yep. And it was all based on you lost the vote 68-3.
63-3. I was like, ooh, Pat. I was like, that's gonna go one of two ways. It's either gonna fuel him to like fuck everybody, I'm gonna take this, or it's gonna like mind fuck him. But I sure am glad it catapulted him the right way.
Pat knew how it was gonna drive him. He knew that man's ego couldn't handle that.
Yeah.
One thing before we move into the relationship, Magic Johnson more into Magic, there was one scene that I thought was like the funniest scene. It was when Kareem was standing on the cliff reading the book. And it's a book with the N word on it.
Uh-huh.
And Jerry West was like, oh, you know, that's on my list to read. John,
That was hilarious.
Is that Dick Gregory's book?
That's Dick Gregory's book.
Is that Gregory's book? Yeah, because he
Yeah.
wrote a book called, he wrote a book called
Dude,
that. So I was wondering, was that
when he said it with a straight face and was so serious, and I was hysterical. That's on my list to read. Is it good?
And they couldn't have him say it because he would have really sued, did. Like Jerry West would have went off and then it did that to him. Then
Yeah, it was Dick Gregory's autobiography.
Yeah, Dick Gregory had a book called that. Yeah, he said, because his mother asked him, why would you name your title that book? And Dick Gregory said, every time they say the word, now I get paid for it on television. So
I love it.
Dick Gregory was that guy.
He was that guy. So it's really interesting that he's reading that book. I think the cast, the ensemble, really won this show for me. I think how everybody played off each other and how they broke the fourth wall.
Yeah,
like Jerry Buss was like, the Swan song, and this is not it.
God, that swan was the imagery of that was so powerful.
They look so calm on top of the water.
It through.
On the ground, they just paddling.
Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that?
No, I never thought about it.
And I didn't know the song swung either. Like they don't sing a song until they die. They're quiet most of their lives, and then they sing it when they die. Mm-hmm. And then when he did the fourth wall, the explanation about the 4-minute mile. That was great. It was
great.
That was great. Because I tell you what, that's what had me quit. They were like, we want you to sprint a mile. You want me to what? You done lost your natural mind. But
he's like, who's the second guy that did it? I don't know neither. But he did it in 48 days later.
46 days later, he did it. Do you know his name? Me neither.
Right.
Nobody knows. Everybody knows the first guy that did it.
The writing was brilliant. The writing was absolutely brilliant. Like I was so invested. If it's like, we've talked about like on here about like the phone test. And if I needed to be on my phone, if I had to do something, I would pause it because I was like, I need to do this thing on my phone, but I don't want to miss this. So let me go ahead and pause so I can come back to you.
And to know that they had like 2 directors, like a director got 2 episodes, every episode. And
a woman directed the last 2. Sally Richardson directed the last 2.
She should get an Emmy. She should get an Emmy for those last 2. She should get an Emmy for those last 2 episodes.
I don't even know which one to give it to her for. Because they both were so amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, her close-ups, when she zoomed in on people's faces and stuff, it was like, wow.
Just everything about it, I love when Magic Doc, he took him to the club, and it had the women in tight clothes, and he was like, I want basketball to feel like that. And Magic was like, that's how basketball feels to me, Dr. Bush. You know what I'm saying?
I love seeing him in their little shorts. Oh man, the scene when please help me with the imagery. When they were talking about Spencer Hayward and how he circumcised himself, and how everybody was looking, trying to see if they can see. I didn't understand, like, what did he fuck it up? Was it like,
that was the interpretation I got. He cut it wrong because he manually did it. Like he wasn't professional. He manually did it. It left some scarring. So he was turned around and whipped it out. Like, y'all want to see it?
Yeah, that was nuts. Spencer was badass though.
Oh God, it was. It was. Wow. He must have been high when he did it. There's no other way.
He had to be high as hell. Right? Let me know that man had nothing to live for.
Nothing to live for, man, or die for. He still got a daughter. Have a great scene. Him and Kareem have a great scene when he's talking about how he grew up. Was it Mississippi or Alabama?
And how he was dealing with the sharecropper, whatever the sharecropper did to him.
Right, and the sharecropper said, "Oh yeah, you got big hands. You're gonna be a top nigga or something like that." Like that was all he could see him for was like this size and strength, like just being somebody just pretty much gonna be a sharecropper in slavery. Let's call it.
Slavery. Slavery.
Right. So
that's what he said. He was like, they call it sharecropping, but we all know it's still slavery. Right, that was such a great moment.
Right, and when he says that's all he could see me was
and that's what he was seeing now as an NBA player about to be kicked out.
And that's why. And so then you understand why he and Kareem have this bond, because they have this understanding of race relationships. And like, because he's one of the Kareem, the guys that Kareem really respects. And you're like, why Kareem care for this guy like that? You know what I'm saying? He don't talk to his teammates. He don't hang out with Magic. But then you see that scene and you're like, oh, I get
Even
it.
when they show him for the first time, I did not know he went all the way to the Supreme Court for the right to play without going to college.
Yeah.
That was badass.
Yeah.
And the hell he took, he was the original Kaepernick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the hell he took, but at least he got to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was some good stuff. And it wasn't a lot. I liked that they didn't give us too much. We didn't go too far.
It wasn't preachy at all.
Yeah, just one scene and you was like, yeah. It's like, this still America. This still America.
Yeah. But what did you guys think about the relationship between Cookie and Magic? I thought it was very, I knew a lot about their history. Just because I followed, like they did the interviews after, Magic gets his diagnosis, and they talk about, all the truth comes out of Magic, about Magic and his womanizing and fidelity and all that jazz. But she is a good woman. I got to tell you what, because to go back to him so many times, woo, no.
I was wondering, is it going back, or she just knew he was always going to be there in some form or fashion?
No, I think she generally did love him. Like,
I think she loved him too. I think she loved him, but she knew he wasn't going nowhere. Like she said it in the script, like
she did.
He got all these women, but he's always back here.
Yep, because she's
always calling me.
Cookie's a rapper. She's a rapper. Like, you out with all them other girls, but you still calling me at night. You still calling me at night.
Yeah,
I'm in Michigan, and you still calling me. Like, ain't you entertained out there?
Well, because that's what Julius Irving, the one thing that dinner that Irving said to him, Dr. J says, is that he was like, a good woman, you can't really knock that. Once you find your partner, that's your partner. Because it's one, you can fuck anybody.
Yeah, Dr. J told him, like, shrimp. He was like, everybody had the shrimp.
Right.
Nobody. Yeah, he was like,
come up with a better excuse, young buck.
It's on her time.
I love how Dr. J's wife played it too. Like, she had that, like like, really? This is what you're gonna tell me?
But she was doing that from the jump.
Just tell me you just messed up. You made
and she even made him introduce her, right? Because she's like,
she did. Like, who is this?
Like, put some respect. You brought her out here. That's right.
It's my girlfriend.
Right.
You brought her up here.
Right. Show her some respect. I thought that was really. I thought that was really dope too. Yeah. Because that you could have seen that scene going a different way. Like, the wives being jealous, or like, girl, but it was like, she looked out for it, and she had no reason to. She had
none at all.
Reason to.
Like,
She's like Dr. J.
You gonna recognize?
He's Dr. J.
He's the Michael Jordan of this time, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and this is his wife. She's got no reason to be nice to this rookie's wife from Lansing, Michigan. And she was
and wasn't even a wife
girlfriend,
yet.
wasn't even wife.
Girlfriend.
But the girl that really, Cindy, she needed to get a foot to the face. I was like, girl, if you don't know, he don't want you. I don't know what to do with you, Cindy.
And he told her, he said, why you still washing my drawers when I'm in the other room talking to Cookie?
That was and she was like, and her response was everything. How is Cookie? As if to say, I understand, and I still want to marry you. Because you're
my dude.
That's the one who
you're
saw
my meal ticket.
Going. She would have let him bone and talk to Cookie. As long as I get that ring on my finger, a couple of babies, and the prestige. I was like, wow.
No, what's crazy is her daddy.
Yeah, Magic, a cold-blooded dude, dog.
Like, you need to tell your daughter.
Dog,
but it was perfect the way it was done, because his dad said, I got you whatever you need. You shouldn't have to do the hard things. The Magic shouldn't have to keep, say the negative things. He was like, about that. I mean, I shouldn't have to do the hard things. I was like, you threw that back at Daddy's.
Yeah.
That's your.
And
the dad was like, whatever.
Daddy came
through with the tickets for Cookie.
And then he
went to go get Cookie.
To get Cookie. And she was like, shouldn't you be with your daughter? It was like,
Because he understood the mission too. He understood the mission.
It's about the money.
Listen, it's about the money. I'm trying to catch on this ride. I see where this child is going.
Me or my daughter going to get this.
Yeah, one of us getting it.
And it's so good that the other teammates recognize it like magic. Your girlfriend Cindy's going way too far. She's doing too much.
She's doing the most.
Showing up at the hospital with the flowers was way out of
with that whack ass, like,
yeah, man. Like, first of all, Magic's a rookie. First of all, he's a rookie. He's a superstar rookie, but he's still a rookie. And then you
are not his wife,
right? And then you see the girlfriend with some bouquet when the coach.
But he didn't even send her. Oh, we gotta talk about McKinney before we. Yeah, sorry, but he didn't even send her. That was sorry. I cut you off, Randy.
No, I was just saying it don't matter if he sent her or not. That's how the teammates are going to interpret it, right?
Yeah,
little girl up in here. Regardless, she represents you.
She sure did. Poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You chose poorly.
You chose poorly, Phil.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad they told him that because he almost married that girl.
Yeah, Norm Nixon. Yeah, he sure did. Because I remember her. I was like, oh, does he marry her? Because I couldn't remember. No. I knew he waited late to get married because he and Cookie didn't get married until like the early 90s, like 91.
Something like that. I remember
91. I looked it up. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I remember because he was on the Arsenio Hall show. That lets you know when it was. And he said he was like, oh yeah, so you marrying Cookie, and every woman in the audience booed. They all booed
because he done been by every woman in the audience.
Yep, he didn't have them all.
Because Magic was there. Magic was doing it.
Oh, Magic was dealing the magic.
Magic was dealing with it, boy. Him and Jerry Buss were on the run.
Oh, they sure were. Yo, let me just say, I was so mad at the woman who played the actress that played the nurse, who I was so proud of her putting herself through school. But you know, that's Yo-Yo from
from
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I was like, Yo-Yo, what you doing? You a co-star. We don't show the boobies for
she showed the boobies. She showed the boobies for the owner.
She only showed one boobie, but still, you don't show the boobies on the co-star. It was hot.
Well, apparently, rumor is Jerry Buss was notorious for doing stuff like that, like taking your girls and paying college tuition and stuff like that.
She was like, well, if I gotta, okay.
Yeah. He's like, you know, my mom was dying. She's like, yeah, I kind of knew. He was like, I'm gonna drive you home and still pay for your tuition.
Yeah, I'm still gonna pay for the tuition. So.
It was just wild. I was like, wow, this is those times.
He grew up in the 60s and the 70s. Rich white man, who had
grew up a poor white man to become rich.
Become a rich white man.
Yeah, became a rich man. Yeah. He had the American dream.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I tell people all the time, I listen to some of my white friends talk about their fathers. And I look at them, it's like, you said your dad grew up poor. Like, yeah. And you're rich now because of your dad. Yeah. He lived the American dream. I don't know what you're thinking. He's never going to change.
That scene with McKinney, when he hit that pavement.
That was tough.
That was tough.
That was.
Yeah, man.
That hurt me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It would have almost been better. It would have, it's terrible saying, if he had been hit by the car, I think I would have, like my mind has prepared me or desensitized me to watch these things in movies, see people get hit by a car and flip over and like, oh, okay. The way
yeah,
that was too real.
Yeah.
To get your dream job 3 months in and get on a bicycle accident, it's like,
and
what?
Just like the friggin' brakes blew.
Yeah, it's like, that's just, that was fate. It's like, it's sad to say, it was like,
yeah. And when Jerry Buss showed up to the door and realized it wasn't him. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
He knew at that moment.
Yeah.
And his wife told him, like, you need to stop this. You need to stop. Yeah. And you killed your own career.
Yeah, when he didn't even know how to, he couldn't even get out of the Lakers stadium.
Right.
Yeah,
he forgot about
but nobody knew about that. But Pat,
but Pat and
what's his name?
Jason Segel's part.
That's when Pat started plotting. He was like, he ain't coming back.
We ain't in back here. This
Pat
is
can't
our
do it.
team.
This is
I
our,
like a,
make
this is
no
our
mistake
team.
about it. Pat
They won
Riley is
50
a shark.
games
Yeah,
because of
right.
us,
He
not because of
came
this guy.
through, and I wasn't mad at him.
Yeah, I wasn't mad
I
neither.
wasn't mad. I was like, come
I
on
was
through,
not
Pat.
mad.
I'm ready for you. I'm ready. Adrian
Mhm.
Brody slayed.
Yeah.
He slayed.
Mhm.
And the thing
I
about
was
the
like,
Lakers
Adrian
is,
Brody, where you been?
right,
Forgot
Right.
about you.
they can do the dynasty era of this, then they can do like the Shaq and Kobe years. They can do the Kobe and Paul Gasol
Mhm.
years. Like they can just go on and on. This could be
It's
like,
the ultimate anthology series. It
Yeah.
really is. It's the ultimate
Yeah.
anthology series.
and we haven't even gotten to the Lakers and the Celtics being in the finals against each other. Imagine.
Yeah, I'm
that
sure
drama
that's
the first
probably
time.
season 2.
Yeah.
And then season
Season
3 is
three.
probably
Because
going to
the
be the
next
bad
season,
boys.
yeah.
Season 3 has got to be the bad boys.
Well, that's later. That's like 88, 89. So we got the Lakers and the Celtics
Yeah.
played 3 times. The Celtics win the championship the very next year.
Yeah.
They gotta drive. They gotta like drive it forward. Season 3, I feel
And
like
then-
they can only milk this Larry Bird.
Yeah, and then you get the tragic
Oh.
Magic years where he just had a horrible playoff series. Then you got to get the Celtics beat him the first time they played against the Lakers.
Yeah.
Calling them soft and all kind of stuff. So I mean,
Mhm.
it's a lot of good drama. Then you get the bad boys, Isaiah Thomas and Magic being friends.
No, man.
How
That-
Pat
that's one
Riley
thing.
didn't like that.
One thing Rodney said, they opened with Magic's diagnosis, and they didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't got there yet.
You didn't get there, yeah.
No, we in his rookie year.
We're in his rookie year.
Yeah.
We got like a
year.
decade to get there.
We got
Yeah.
so this is 79, 8. Like he retired in 92. I want to say it was 92.
93.
Because the 90. Well, the Bulls won the championship in 91. I think he retired that next year. So that was like 91, 92-ish. So yeah. So we got what 13, 14 years to go.
Yeah.
In this series. So cool. All right, guys. We hitting that time. So we started with you, Chuck. First time we're gonna go back with you, Courtney. I'm pretty secure in what you're going to say, or pretty much know, but how are you going to re-rate Winning Time?
Like Chuck said earlier, I binged this in 2 days, legitimately. I waited. I was so busy and I was like, dang it, I gotta get this in. And I think I didn't want to watch it while it was running. This is the first time I was on the Chuck train. I was like, I don't want to watch this while this is running. I'm gonna wait until it's all done because I love this period so much. I just didn't want to know they fucked it up. You know what I mean? I was holding out as long as I could. And I literally binged it in 2 days. So it is hands down, without question. They got me out here repping in the streets in public as a Laker. So don't tell nobody in Michigan. I'm from Michigan. Yeah.
All right.
I even got purple nails, y'all. That was a whole accident. But anyways, yeah, full on
Full
BingeWorthy.
Okay. And I mean, I think we've talked ad nauseum about this. It was a great show. I enjoyed it from start to end. The only thing about it is I'm looking forward to season 2. I want to know where they're gonna go in season 2 because it's so much material. Like we don't even have James Worthy coming through the team yet. Pat Riley hasn't been the coach. Like I said, the Celtics haven't won a game against. So it's like so much rich material.
So
that we
ready
can
for
pull
Pat Riley. I
from.
love him so
Right.
much.
Yeah, and so
He was so fun to watch.
yeah, and imagine when Pat really puts the slick back hair and pulling up in the limo, hopping out with the
sleeves
rollie,
rolled up.
Yeah,
He's on the
with the
sideline with just the
rocking
shirt and the
rocking the
tie.
Armani. Like, oh, imagine him stalking the
kicked out,
sideline.
Getting
Yeah,
ejected
man.
from games.
Man, come on. So my rating is the same. It's a full binge out. Chuck, how you gonna bring us home, man? How you gonna rate it?
I'm gonna keep it a full binge out. I mean, as long as they keep doing what they're doing and let the chemistry just feel like it's natural, let it go. This could be one of the greatest shows that we've probably ever seen. They do this right.
Yeah, man.
And
Yeah.
the way it's shot, I think everything makes sense from the opening song with the Roots.
I meant
And
to
you're
say that when
like,
y'all talked about the
wow.
soundtrack. I was like, what? I had to
The
Google
soundtrack
that
was
song. I was like,
everything.
whoa.
This song, I mean, everything was perfect.
Song
Yeah.
is
It was-
everything.
I knew it was Black Thought, and I was like, why does it sound like it's from the 70s or 80s? It just had that bop to it. And I was like,
man.
yep,
Yeah.
I'm all on this train. I binged it one day, Sunday. I sat down, I watched the pilot when it first came on, then I binged the whole entire thing all over again on Sunday. It was done.
Cool. Good stuff. Cool. All right. So that's gonna give show Winning Time. We're giving it a full binge out. Miss Courtney Scott, right, ma'am? You got any parting words before we head out?
You know, you mentioned this in the beginning when you talked about how it changed the relationship between Will Ferrell and Adam McKay because they, you know, Will Ferrell really wanted to play Jerry Buss. I think it was Jerry Buss, the character that he wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
He just knew that was going to be his role, and Adam McKay didn't tell him. He just cast John C. Riley, and John C. Riley then called Will Ferrell. Hey man, I just want to make sure we cool. You good with me taking this role?
Dry
And he's just
snitching.
like,
That's what we call it. We call it dry snitching.
you know what I'm saying? And Will Ferrell was like, yeah, we good. Cut to email, Adam McKay, we ain't good. And goodbye. But
Yep.
I understand, like John C. Riley was perfect, and I just can't see. From the beginning when that dropped, the information dropped, I think he was spot on, and I appreciate him following through on the artistic vision.
Yeah,
Because
but he could have told. He could have
everything.
put his friend's code.
He could have told his friend,
Yeah,
I
he
support
coulda
you.
told his
I agree.
friend.
He should have told
Right.
he should have told his friend the truth. But his vision
The
was
vision
not
was a dead off.
was
Yeah.
not incorrect, but he
Yeah.
he handled it incorrectly, and
Yeah.
he has admitted that.
Yeah. Cool. Chuck, got any parting words before we head out, man?
I can't wait for season 2. I just can't wait for season 2. I'm so
Absolutely.
excited about this show.
Me
All
too. I loved it. I'm ready. Let's
Awesome.
get it.
All right. If you are watching this on YouTube, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're watching it on Facebook or Twitter, don't forget to like us. Also, we want to give a shout out to Digital Click. They provide this beautiful surroundings that we have, and Digital Click can do wonders for your marketing and promotional strategies. The Geekish Network, we are a network devoted to representing underrepresented people. We have talent such as actors and writers and directors. We've got tech people. We've got podcasters, and behind the scenes, a full bevy of talent to represent you. People that look just like you. So please support us. Next week, we're going to be doing Halo. So we're going to be on Thursday night. I think we're going to be on Thursday. So we're going to be the first group to give you a full evaluation of Halo. So tune in for us next week. As Courtney likes to say, same geek time, same geek channel. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Bye.